Have you always wanted to invest in real estate, but you've assumed that you can't afford it? Well, this is the best method, the safest method, and one of the lowest down payment methods to getting started investing in real estate and growing your wealth. In this video, we're going to cover everything about house hacking and how you can get started growing your wealth through real estate. Now, stay tuned because we're going to go over exactly what house hacking is, and I'm going to give you an example of a duplex currently on the market in College Station that would make an excellent house hack. Of course, we're going to cover all that on your favorite channel, Investing in Bryan and College Station, your go-to channel for growing your wealth through real estate in my favorite towns of Bryan and College Station, Texas. Guys, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel because we're going to keep pumping out content like this. In the meantime, sit back and enjoy this episode on house hacking. The reason that house hacking works so well is it takes an already proven wealth building strategy, and that's home ownership, and it adds cash flow to it. It's like taking a wealth building engine and slapping a freaking rocket booster on the back because you are about to shoot towards your wealth creation goals faster than you can imagine. So what is house hacking? Well, as I define it, house hacking is simply taking your primary residence, and honestly, you don't necessarily have to own it, but it is a huge advantage. But taking your primary residence and then adding some level of cash flow to it. How do you do that? Well, it could be as simple as buying a multifamily, call it a fourplex or a duplex, and renting out the other units. You could also take a single family house and rent out the bedroom. Another way to do this is to buy a house with an ADU. That's an accessory dwelling unit, also known as a casita or an in-law suite or a pool house, and renting that one out. Or switch it up, live in the pool house, rent out the main house. Literally, the possibilities are endless. I know some people that rent out their house for game day weekends on Airbnb. It's a super popular method for those people that own homes here in Bryan and College Station, where 7 football games, 2 graduations, a few ring dunks, and you can make a couple $1,000s. So you can already start to see how we're taking your house and we're turning it from a liability to an asset. If you haven't read Rich Dad Poor Dad, that's straight out of that book. So let's jump in and talk about exactly what the pros are of house hacking, a few of the cons, and then we'll start to jump into a real world example showing you exactly how your wealth will be growth. What are the pros and cons of house hacking? I said con because I believe there's only one disadvantage to being a house hacker, and that is you're sharing personal space. Of course, there are people living literally right next to you, on top of you, or in your same house. So how do you wrap your head around that? What if you're not ready to do that? Well, I have a suggestion for you. Go down to your local kindergarten class. Sit down with them as they're practicing sharing their toys. Do that 2 to 3 times a week until you're ready to house hack, because there's some huge advantages. We're going to cover them now. Number 1, you have access to low down payment mortgage. The same low down payment products, FHA, VA, 5% down conventional, are available to you as a house hacker, same as anybody else. Now that's way better than having to put 20 to 30% down on an investment property. The savings can be $80,000 here in Bryan-College Station. And of course, that means that you can house hack more regularly because you don't have to save up as much money to get into that next property. Number 2, lowers your living expense. This is why a lot of people want to house hack. Of course, your mortgage payment is being offset, being paid for to a certain extent by your guest and by your tenants. So if you do it right, you can lower your living expenses to almost nothing. And we'll show you an example of that here in a few seconds, so hang around. Number 3, landlording on training wheels. What do I mean by that? Well, it's way easier to manage your tenants when they're right next door. I know a lot of people, like I originally thought, it's gonna be weird having my tenants next door as my neighbors living next to me, living above me. And honestly, it's not. I'm just telling you right now from experience, I have house hacked with multiple tenants, and I've also managed properties all the way across town. It's way easier when the tenants are directly next door. So if you have any desire to self-manage your portfolio and grow that portfolio, house hacking is a great way to get started and to learn those ropes. And then lastly, and again, definitely not least, is the growth to your wealth. You see, when you own any property, you're going to enjoy the appreciation and the principal pay down. But in this case, because you put such little amount of money down, that growth is exponential. So the acceleration to your growth when you're house hack is bar none the greatest advantage to house hacking, and I'm going to prove it to you. We're going to put some numbers together as we go to our real world example of a duplex that's available right now here in Bryan-College Station. For the real world example, we're going to look at two houses. We're going to look at a duplex and a single family house. So we can compare house hacking to your other option of just buying an affordable house here in College Station. The duplex, of course, is 2506 Hickory Drive. It's a run-of-the-mill duplex that you can find here in Bryan-College Station. They're asking $330,000, which might be a little bit above market value, but we can pay asking price and it's still a great deal because we're house hacking. The layout is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath per side. There is no garage. It's roughly 1,000 square feet per unit. If you were to use an FHA loan and put 3.5% down, you'd be looking at right around $11,500 in down payment. If we throw in some closing costs, we'll round that up to $20,000. It's a very conservative down payment and closing cost estimate. We'll say $20,000 to get you into this house. Based on that FHA loan, your monthly payment would be $2,800 a month. If you rented out one of the sides, the market value for a 3-2 rental in College Station is about $1,400. And if you're anything like me, you would also rent out the bedrooms on your side. For that, we would get about $450 per bedroom or an additional $900, bringing our total income on the property up to $2,300, meaning our cost to live in this duplex would only be $500 a month. Now, my favorite two numbers are the principal pay down and depreciation, because this is where numbers get really big. Your principal pay down with that FHA loan is $3,800 in the first year, and your appreciation at 4%. Here in College Station, we see appreciation between 4 and 5% over the last 30 years. We'll go with 4%. That's $13,200, which means that your wealth growth in year one in equity is $17,000. Now let's compare that to 511 Camp Court. That is our, Joe homeowner, good low price starter home. It's a 1,200 square foot home. Again, no garage. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Your down payment on $265,000 asking price would be right around $9,000. Sprinkle in some closing costs, and we'll say it cost you about $15,000 to get into this house. Yes, it's $5,000 cheaper, but stay with me. Your monthly payment on this house would be right around $2,300 a month. Let's compare that to the $500 a month in the duplex. That's a cost savings of $1,800 a month. Now, I'm not a smart dude, so I'm gonna break out the calculator. $1,800 a month times 12 months means you save $21,600 in the first year. With that level of cost savings, you could go buy yourself another duplex and do it again next year. That's what I mean when I say this is scalable and repeatable. Now, the other big thing is, of course, the appreciation and principal pay down. Your appreciation is much larger because the duplex is a larger and more expensive property. The difference between the two, $330,000 minus $265 is $65,000 at 4%. So you're getting an additional $2,600 worth of appreciation in the duplex. So I hope that you see how powerful that is. We said $21,600 a month in additional saving by going with the duplex. For fun, let's look at what that ROI would be. You're investing $20,000 and you're getting $21,600 in savings. That is a 108% return on your money. 108% return on your money. What did the stock market do in the last year? What is your savings account spitting out? Nothing relative to that. 108%. That is bonkers. That is the power of house hacking. So guys, house hacking, as we know, super awesome strategy for growing your wealth. You can buy a duplex, you can buy a fourplex, you can buy a mansion with a pool house. All of that is house hacking. All of that will lower your living expenses, and any dollar that you save through house hacking is a dollar earned. You can put that money back into living a bigger life, or if you're anything like me, that money will go right back into real estate so that you can slap that rocket on the back of your wealth growing engine and accelerate towards your big dreams of becoming a real estate mogul. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know you've already liked and subscribed, but if you haven't, I'll give you some time to do that right now. Until next time, you guys take it easy.